Amen.
We are now live, but we still got a few moments. Mm, mm, mm.
Excuse me. Yeah, I'm thinking all the things, little intro and stuff like that. I've been watching other people's podcasts. That's what it's like.
We already got an intro. We just haven't used it.
I know I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it.
but let Sherm be creative. Don't he
Let me
want
be creative, but however,
yeah.
that being said, let's record. You each one of you have the recordings, right?
No.
What?
Well,
Or the little script for it for each
Yes,
one
we
to
have the
read.
script. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can
So
read
as
our
soon as you
parts and
send
send it
those
to
to me, then that can be part of my creative process.
you. Okay. See, I'm getting closer and closer by the moment.
See, if I put pressure on you, that means you're gonna put pressure on me when you send them to me. That means I got to do it because I talk shit and made you do
when
it.
did
So
you
then I
send the
got to
script?
finish.
Last year.
Trish, get. Mm,
Well, where am I gonna be looking for this, Trish? Because you
uh,
confidently said yes, like you knew where it was.
It's
And I was
either
like,
it's
I
one or
do
two
remember that
places.
conversation, but I'm not about to pigeonhole myself and be like, oh yeah. I'm gonna just be honest up front and be like, nigga, I don't know where that shit is.
Okay, so it's one of two places. It will either be in our email or it will be in our text. But I believe it's in our text thread, if I'm not
it's for
mistaken.
sure in our text thread. That much
You
I
know
do
how
know.
long of a text thread that we have.
I
Whether it
am very
whether
aware of
it's
that.
the 6 to 12 eyes, we gotta be just the 6 to 12 eyes. Cause we'll go with the one with Spud on it. And it's so much to filter through.
That's more spud than anything else.
Yeah, it is. But even the 6 to 12 eyes, we still talk,
Yes.
Right. It's still regular conversation. So yeah,
Yes.
it's all right.
And we
It's,
are
it's
looking at things through.
6 to 12 eyes. Eyes.
Oh.
Bam.
Eyes. You like how I did that?
Somebody asked me that, like, why 6 to 12 eyes? Is because we started with 6 and now we
We
got
all got
12. He was like, oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah.
That's what we look and they we have not missed a beat because we all came on with 12.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
No
And
lies detected in no statements at
and
all.
I ain't gonna even hold you up. I am completely dependent upon these without these, anything up close, I am in trouble. I am in trouble.
Okay, you're kicking us off because it is now
Barney Rubble trouble.
Marty Rubble trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate Xavier Black, but at the same time, I would rather not love anybody more than that brother right there. I'm just gonna keep it
Right.
real.
We on?
Yeah,
Yes,
we
it's
are.
4
So
o'clock.
Okay.
should we do an official intro or something?
That's
Oh,
what
it's
I
4 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock. I'm going to get my tea. I'll be right back.
Did he
and we
said,
are now live.
We
But
are
we've been
live.
okay, well, hey everybody. Welcome to 6 to 12 Eyes. I am Sherman, aka Mr. Harris. Over there in the corner, that is Miss Penny, Latricia Penny, and he's coming back with his tea in just a couple minutes. It is Xavier Black. Once again, we are 6 to 12 Eyes, and today's episode we are going to talk about a few things. We got a couple random questions to ask each other. So today's theme will be real life check: money, love, stress, and unfortunately, getting older. Or should I say, fortunately, getting older?
hello, it beats the alternative. What you talking about?
Right.
Well, right, just getting older gracefully.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
that part.
That part.
So
So you're gonna start off with that question we were talking about prior to?
yes. So just a moment ago, we were talking before we went live, and because we tend to talk about various topics, one of the things that I'm sure gets all of us in different ways or the same way is litter. Why do people litter? If anyone has a comment and sees this later, and you're a litterer and want to share some information on your why, because I have no idea, and I think it's absolutely disgusting. I think it's beyond trifling, and that you don't have home training, but that's something totally different.
No,
But
that's the answer right there. We ain't gonna dance around this. That's the goddamn. First of all, let me stop. I apologize. I had to step away. I've been under the weather. I'm drinking tea. I got hot tea. I got cold tea. I got water. I got lemon. I got all this stuff over here so I can get through this show, right? But either way, back to what you were saying. It is no home training. You have no self-respect. You have no respect for other people and the environment in which you live. Because if you did, somebody else got to pick this stuff up. Even if you live in an environment, right? Like we've all, for the most part, at one point lived in the hood before, right?
Mm.
And some things happen in the hood don't happen in other areas, but that's a planned agenda, right? And that mentality gets carried on, and you never leave that. You never lose that. You never lose it in some cases. So some people, littering is just a thing. I got trash. Open the window. No matter where we are, no matter who's around, what they're doing, as opposed to throwing it in the trash can. But as a homeowner who had to pick up other people's shit on a regular basis, and would drive me crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! Especially as if you when you drive up and down the street, you really don't have an excuse, because in the burbs it would be an issue, but when I lived in the hood, ain't nobody put their trash can. Most people did not put their trash can back. The shit stayed on the street. So guess what? As you roll down the street, and some of them didn't have tops, you could just roll your window down, slow down a little bit, throw it in the trash can. But instead, you just throw it out the window, and then it flies, and it's all over my yard. I could be old. No, I'm old. I'm going to admit that. So I have I look at things from an older person's perspective. But with that being said, trifling is as trifling does.
I think sometimes the lack of awareness of your environment, because like you said, sometimes people just throw stuff out, and I'll never forget it. It was years ago. They had just built, I think, a new library, some part of Charlotte. And when I say brand new, everything was new. Outside was new. The new little trees, everything was just like manicured beautifully. And they are, like you said, in various places, trash cans everywhere. Now, it's one thing that, I will say, and I have noticed that back in the day, there will be times where the community trash cans will be overflowed.
Right.
So there may be you could attempt to, but it may not make it, or it may fly off because it's already in the space. But going back to this brand new library, I was out doing some community work. I was with a young person, and there were these young kids. They weren't necessarily from here. Hell, I ain't from here. But I just
Ain't
watched
nobody
them.
from there. Anyway,
Shush.
sorry. My bad.
There are people. I just watched
I
them,
ain't
like,
see one. And I saw all clean bathrooms too. But whatever, that's beside the point.
So I saw the young person like proceed to put something on there, and I was like, "Hey, like, what you doing?" And they looked at me, because there's this other thing too. I think over time people don't say nothing, and I was like, "You just gonna, like, have that out there?" And they was like, "Yeah, what's wrong with that?" I'm like, I said, "Can you look around? Do you see, like, do you see anything else on the ground?" And I was like, "Hold up, I'm about to go get a bag, because you about to put that in the bag. We're gonna, put this in the garbage." They were like, they looked at me like I was crazy. They was like, "Are you serious? Like, this bothers you that much?" I said, "Absolutely. I'm going to my car. We're getting the bag. You don't see no other trash. You see absolutely nothing else." They were like, but they were like amazed that I once, one, said something, two, went to my car and got a bag, because I was like, "What you ain't about to do is leave this shit on this. You don't see absolutely no trash, and you don't have no reason why you putting that out there, And that I was just like, you know what? Hey, sometimes you have to show people, our youngs or what have you, because they may not, as we said, have been taught. that no, this is unacceptable behavior. Here, I got some stuff. We got to go do this, and no, and don't do that no more. You know, like just for what? So
I can't even. I heard you say young a couple times. I can't even put it on young people because yes, in that case, we do have some people who are younger who don't have their own training, but there's some folks our age and older that still do this trifling ass shit. Okay, I ain't gonna call nobody out on the internet because it stay forever, and you might only did it once, but I saw your ass, and I could call you out, but whatever.
Okay, so when we're talking about littering, like what levels of littering talking about? We talking about like throwing out like a whole plastic bag, dumping out like your whole garbage somewhere, or the average person that throws out a candy wrapper or a cigarette butt while they're driving down the street, or all of them?
Candy wrapper, cigarette butt. Okay, that's really kind of inconsequential, right? But let's just say you got a whole bag of garbage out the window. Your food that you just ordered from McDonald's, Burger King, or wherever you went to get your fast food with all the wrappers and the half-eaten shit, and you just throw it out the window, and then the birds and the rats and the squirrels and all other rodents and shit get it, and it's just all over the place, right? You know, that's the extremes. And then the to take it a step further, the illegal dumping, which happens, so you'll have, like in Detroit, you'll have people who don't live in Detroit who do work that require them to dump materials that they may have to pay, or maybe they have to be accountable for, what have you. And they'll come in the city and find a place that is a little more desolate, that doesn't have as many people around, and they'll dump their shit. Okay. That kind of illegal dumping, well, that's a whole different level of
tax bracket.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's
Like,
Oakland County
but I
coming
got
to Wayne
issues- I
County
got
to
issues
jump out
with
their
all of them.
garbage.
I got issues with all of them. The regular person throwing the trash out their window, and the people dumping your cigarette butt and your candy wrapper. Ain't nobody worried about that. But the shit that you just got from Burger King or KFC and Popeyes and your chicken bones and shit get picked all over the place, and then you got trapped, man. Oh, get me started.
What you say? Let you not start. I think it's.
He said, "Let's not start." Right? You heard that, right?
I think it's safe to say that you got started.
Yeah,
yeah, I think you got started. That Tussin got you, huh?
Yeah. Right.
Like, hold up.
My filter gone. My filter gone.
Yeah, so that has been a thing. And I'm more of the if it can't go back to the earth. So like the only thing that I'm kind of okay with is the stuff that like fruit or stuff that grow from the earth, that maybe an apple rind or something, something that's just gonna actually go back in and be okay. That's gonna help the environment.
Something biodegradable. I feel you.
Yeah.
Birds gonna eat it, rats gonna eat it, something, insects, it will just go into the earth. I feel you.
I had an opportunity to go with a group from the city of Detroit, and this is when I was working for the city. And we were it was a part of the group that wanted to go to Seattle to see how they do their sustainability, because they have this robust, like it's ingrained in the system, and everybody, the recycling program they have, everybody, it's you would be the person, that person would stand out so bad, it would have been 1,000 of you shaming that person. Okay. Wow. In Seattle.
Yeah.
Everybody would have been on, they would have walked away covering their face, right? That's how robust their recycling program is, and it's ingrained in everything and everywhere you go. And when I came back from that, for real, I was changed, because I'm like, damn, this can be done. You just take a little effort, you know what I mean? And if everybody's a part of it, you do your part. Not everybody recycles, not everybody considers that, not everybody knows or even looks at that as being something as important, just like those young people that you ran into. They're like, well, what's the big deal? So what? They don't know.
Yeah. And what did you notice when you went there? Like, do they have a campaign where it's like all, because I remember when we were younger, I remember the Don't Litter commercials.
Listen,
I don't know if
it's
I've
a
seen it.
lifestyle, right?
Yeah,
You go
but
to you go to Seattle, it's a lifestyle. It's not it's everywhere. It's on the walls, it's everywhere. It's
mm-hmm,
everywhere. You got reminders
mm-hmm,
about this is how we doing this around here.
mm-hmm,
Reuse, cycle. You know what I
mm-hmm,
mean? Everywhere.
mm-hmm.
All the different containers for you to be
Yeah.
able to put things into to make it easier for separation, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And we went to their trash collection facility, and you can't even imagine the difference that makes, and just the smell.
Mm.
You walking around, you remember what it was like driving up 94 when they had the trash compactor area right over here off of 94 and 75. You drive past, you have to close your windows because it stinks so bad,
Mm-hmm.
Whereas we're walking through the facilities and no mask, no nothing.
Hmm.
It makes a difference. I think it's maybe or more societal the difference. I mean, and I think there's also probably a difference among where you go here in the United States. I mean, because recycling in Michigan is a big thing. But recycling here is a little bit different because there you recycle in Michigan, you recycle tin cans, glass, all that. You have to separate that. Here in Arizona, it's just like you got one for biodegradable, you got one for recycling. So that includes plastic, glass, everything goes
Mm-hmm.
in the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but I've seen it in other places, especially like Switzerland, like Dre was saying with, Xavier saying with Seattle, you'll get shunned publicly if you threw a wrapper on the ground or anything like that. And all the public trash facilities are specific paper, glass, even if it's paper with some kind of food on it, it needs to go on this one. And you will get shamed if publicly if you did that. So do you think it's something that maybe there should be like a universal law, universal recycling law nationwide?
I
Or
think
is that bringing the feds into the thing again?
that's a whole nother conversation. But I think
Right.
When I said lifestyle, that's really what it is, because what I noticed in conjunction with that, what I didn't see in Seattle, I saw a lot of very healthy people. I didn't see an awful lot of people who were overweight. And at the time, I was fat as fuck. So I could say this, okay? So I didn't see a lot of people who were overweight. One, it's a lot of hills. So you walk. I did not see an awful lot of fast food restaurants. You can't go 8 blocks on a major street in Detroit and not hit some kind of fast food, Coney Island, something. You can't. You know what I mean? They were very, very far and few in between. Very much more health conscious. So I think that
local businesses at that.
But the mindset of that area is just way more health conscious. So if you're health conscious, you could, it makes it easier to conceive that you would be conscious of your place in the environment and how you affected by what it is that you do and what you don't do. Whereas here, we ain't health conscious. Fast food's all over the place. Trash too.
You said trash too. Let's bring it all together.
Well, and I think the other piece too is there are some spaces where although it's listed as being recyclable, it's not necessarily recyclable. I think because of some of the toxins that are in even like laundry detergent, whatever, like certain things, even though they may have it on there, they aren't able to reuse, or that people don't rinse all of the stuff out or do all of the things they're supposed to do. And so some of it still ends up at the end of the day in the garbage as opposed to recycle. So that's a whole different thing that goes beyond the litter part, but that's, there's all of these other
to your point with that. So you know, it like in what we talk about in Seattle, those things that they can't do that with was much easier to filter that out when everything is already
together,
filtered. So now you only have to filter these plastic bottles versus the plastic, the trash, everything else. So they can take out, but they don't have to convolute the message and water down the message to people and say, all right, well, this bottle you can recycle, but this one here, nah, all plastic recycle, and then they do whatever they need to do on the back end.
Nice. Yeah, that is the pet peeve of, I think, all of us.
Yep.
And I was just saying, living here, to when I first moved here, you never notice anything, to now where it's like, what in the heck? Like, you never notice. You'd be on the highway, it's like there's just no trash anywhere. This is wonderful.
It's so clean. It's so lovely.
So
It's
nice.
so
It's so clean. It's lovely. And now it's just like, wow, you know, and I know that there's been an influx of a lot of people moving here. Once again, it's the mentality of some of the people, some young, and like, I can't say that it was only young either, because I have witnessed like somebody in front of me, like stopping and throwing the whole bag and, you know, basically cleaning out their car and just dropping it at the red light.
I've seen that before.
It's like, come on, that, you know, like, you just go, all of the trash that's in your car, you know, you just leave at the red light, you know. So and the disconnect with, like, what in the heck
why
is
that's
it?
an issue.
Yeah.
Out of sight, out of mind. It's not mine. It's not my problem to deal with. You know, and not again, I think it has to go with just not having a lot of self-respect.
Yeah.
Because, you know, for me, I'm like, I don't want to do that because I don't want nobody to see me throwing shit out the window. One,
I'm not trying to be that person. Nope.
You know, and then two, I know what it feels like to have to pick up somebody else's shit off of my own property.
Yeah.
So no, I don't want.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw this out there, because there was a moment in time where, you know, I used to do a lot of in-home services, and I remember someone whose home I went to, and they had stuff, and I'm like, hey, y'all need to clean up the yard. She was like, the yard don't matter, just matter what it looked like once you come in the house. And I was like, well, this is coming into the house when you walk up the when you walk up, it's literally coming into the house. Like, this is how you get there. So you think people not gonna notice you got all of this, you know, stuff all over the yard, because when they get in the house, everything is together. What? You know, but that was literally the statement that I heard. Like, oh, that doesn't matter, you know, as long as the inside look good. I'm like, this is your whole house. Like, it starts at the side.
It's a package. It's a package.
It's a package deal. So
you
I'm
can't
just saying,
you can't brush your teeth in the morning and not do nothing else and say you took care of your hygienes.
Facts. I mean, don't you make your first impression anyway on the way up to the house? If you see the yard looking like crazy, I mean, how your house look like inside is making no difference.
They were so convinced. They were convinced. They're like, no, that don't matter. And I'm just like, yeah, it does. It does matter. This is the house.
I mean,
and
people
like,
grow up the way they grow up, I guess.
Like, how do you sit out on the porch and then, like you said, notice all of the stuff that's around and then still make a choice not to? Like, you notice that on your stuff, you have all of these different things around, and you're choosing not to look at any, you're not gonna pick nothing up, like, just absolutely nothing.
That's why the older I get, it's easier for me to see myself living in some place where I'm just off somewhere and it's just me. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to have to deal with other people. Because I'm like, you know what? For real, you should be able to do whatever the fuck you want to do. You want to be nasty and trifling? Be nasty and trifling. Who am I to say something about it? Other than the fact, if we live across from each other, I got to look at this shit all the time. But hey, let me move out to somewhere where it's just me and the animals and the trees and the dirt. You know what I'm saying? And it just, you know, then I don't have to worry about that. I might be antisocial, but whatever. I won't be upset either.
I don't call that antisocial. I call that living within one's peace.
Oh, goodness. All right. So, Sherman, you said you had a couple questions as well.
Right. But I was just going on thinking about what Dre was saying, just living somewhere else, because that's Heather and I's retirement plans to live on the island. Just live. So we only got to deal with people, and we got to deal with people. And other than
Yeah.
that, we're not going to deal with people. But that being said, our retirement project that does bring up a question.
Mhm.
So the question is, are people in their 50s behind on retirement, or did we just realize that the system was never built for us? I'll say it again. Are
Mm.
people in their 50s behind on retirement, or did we just realize that the system was never built for us?
Probably both.
And do you think that that has something to do with like the value of money as well, like knowing the longevity of it?
We were told, all right, we were told this, um, we were given this blueprint for what we were supposed to do, and people followed a different blueprint before us. You got a job, you worked, you retired, you lived, you died. We were told you go to school, you get a better job, make a little bit more money, you save, you retire, and then you die, right? Um, no, I don't think we were taught properly, because I think you should live.
Uh-oh.
I think you should live, because people, how many people do you know that worked all their life, worked to 65, 68, right? Retired, and then a couple years later they passed because whatever they were doing was what sustained them. Like, nah, you should live, you know. But I guess
Right.
your question was probably more towards saving money for retirement. I think the fallacy of work, or the premise of work, save, and retire was flawed in and of itself. Because, you know, how can you really work, live, and save based on everything that we all have going on? How can you really do that? Like, for real, for real. Some people do it. Some people's situations are such that they're afforded so much. They put themselves in good positions, great positions, where saving is an option,
Mm,
right?
right. Right.
Mm.
You know, but there's a
Depending
lot
on
of
your tax
people.
bracket, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who don't have that as an option per se, and even if they do, how much are they really saving to be able to, to live afterwards? So I think the whole fallacy, the whole premise of work, save, live, retire, and live off those savings, that whole premise is a little flawed.
I would
Hmm.
say, for me, I will go ahead and say I am behind. I am behind. I am behind. Um, and I also think that it's a conversation, a financial conversation that I think, as you were saying, Xavier, we never had the conversation about what the how to look like. Because most of the people I know, for me, my father was retired and he had worked at a plant, and I can't say that he had a financial advisor. I'm gonna go ahead and say no. So I think depending on where you're from and what kind of access and proximity to the financial education that you're going to have family wise, because I think certain families set their children up for success with that, and it's a
Mm.
given as opposed to something that you got to learn outside the home because you're not going to be taught. I think that if you had the access to the information, that there would have been a different way we all could have moved earlier if we had access to the information. And so some of that we learned, some of it, like, there are certain things. It's like, okay, what's your number? What number do you need in order to sustain yourself? Plus, blah, 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 with everything. Like, we don't even have that conversation half of the time. What's the number of what you need?
I mean, it's hard to to not keep going back to this, but it just kind of is what it is. We're the first generation of Black people who were born with 100% citizenship rights. So everybody before us, savings.
Facts.
What you mean savings? Motherfuckers just trying to live and trying to survive with all the other things that were placed upon them and all the other restrictions and things that they had to deal with just to make it to tomorrow. So now when you ask the question, are people in their 50s, are they prepared? Hell no, they ain't prepared. Not in the masses, no. Because they started behind to begin with. Way behind. We are the first generation, okay, of people of color who were born with 100% citizenship rights. Think about that shit. Slavery, not slavery. Jim Crow, segregation, the dogs, the water hoses, that shit was happening 8 years before we were born. Let that sink in. Seems like it's so far away, but it ain't.
What? Okay. And for the communities that were able to sustain themselves, and then of course because of where we are, you either get flooded or burned down or whatever, you know.
Right.
And there were laws preventing you from being able to even try to invest, even if you knew about it. There were laws that prevented you from doing that.
Yeah. So it's like there were those that actually had, and then they were always kind of taken out. And then, you know, and so as you stated, you know, for some it's like you do the best you can and you learn as you go, but it wasn't like we were taught because no one had the privilege of being able to access a lot of things. You know, I go back because it's like there's some people in my family that did have their own business and some other stuff. And there are other people where, you know, I think it kind of is a geographic, wherever you're located, what was able to get accomplished at times. You know, there are some families that were able to sustain in certain places. And then there's some, it's like, you know, you got a little bit of time in, and then they come in with whatever they're going to come in, or that even with, even at looking at, I'm trying to think, well, I think it was that food documentary about the history of Black food in America or what have you. And it was on, I want to say Netflix.
Ooh, I do not know about this. What is that? Wait, you need to send the link on that or something. I do not know about this.
I am not going to lie to you. Act like I remember.
I'll Google it. I'll Google it.
But the same stuff was still happening because it was a whole family that had all of this land. You know, I was talking to Bayla and remembering that there was a time where I want to say my dad's dad had land, but he got swindled out of land, you know, like from Arkansas, you know. So it's like there's so many of, sometimes you do have, or, you know, don't have, or don't always understand the value of, or sometimes it's just taken, or all of the different dynamics. It's just really hard. But what I was saying with the show, the eminent domain of how they continue to do things in Black areas of, oh, we need a highway, that they never sometimes even do, but they're going to take your land and you can't do anything about it because it's the government, you know, like all of the other stuff. So I think, you know, as Monsieur Black was talking about, like there was just so many things, so many different ways that we were put in a headlock, and, you know, and everything else about being able to ascertain all of the things that we need to thrive as we, you know, get older and live literally. You know, I think we're kind of like that first generation is like, okay, notice the trend of, like you said, okay, retirement, then people gone. Okay, so how we like not do that part, you know? Like, how do we live our lives and like start enjoying and don't feel bad because we ain't got nothing else to do, or we've never planned on, you know, making it this far, you know, that afterwards, you know, kind of thing. So
right. So you think a certain sense of mortality is kind of like, like we could be gone tomorrow, kind of
I
led to
don't.
like live now, or just like, or I just, nobody know. Well, yeah, okay, I get that. I get that. I get that.
I wouldn't even say that we do the live now thing. I just think that unfortunately so many people were just so work, work, work until you retire. They never even thought about what made them happy.
Yeah.
We didn't look for joy. We look for, can we pay these bills and make sure our kids are okay?
Yes.
That
Mm.
wasn't even a part of the conversation. It's like, how do we survive and how do we do all of the things that we're supposed to do and get the things hopefully that we say that we need. And I don't even know if anybody ever thought past retirement half of the time. It just came up on them after they made sure that all of the bills was paid and the kids had shoes. And every now and again we may do a family trip, maybe, but we may not go too far. You know what I'm so it's like, because we may or may
Right.
not be able to afford all of that.
Right.
Right. I figured that. So do you think that people are working longer now by choice or by necessity? Based on what you just said, I would say probably more necessity than choice.
Yeah, I would say
Absolutely.
necessity, because they don't even, I mean, what the fuck is Social Security or whatever the heck they talking about that may or may not be there anyway? That
I,
was always the crazy
who's
stuff to
counting on
me.
that? If you
Yeah,
older than 50 right now and you counting on that, you are crazy. If you are
yeah,
50 or younger and you think that's gonna be, don't even let it go out your head. That's not gonna happen.
yeah. So for all of the stuff, it's like, what we doing? you know
Fair enough. I'm glad I don't
and
work like
or
that
the
anymore.
people who they were dependent on that because that's what they were taught. You do the stuff and you should be able to have this, that, and the other, because you put money into a system that, like when they had those crashes and everybody lost all of their stuff and people literally had retirement, but then again, how do you lose the stuff anyway? So even
Yeah.
if you had all of this money and you plan for your future, and then all of a sudden all your money is gone because of however they decided they was going to take it. Because to me, money don't ever disappear, it just changes hands some kind of way. So where did it go?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Like, but all of these people now have nothing, no cushion no more,
Yeah.
that they literally worked hard to even have. So what the hell was that? You know? So, and that was the right way of doing stuff as well, too. So it's like, okay, like, what was it all for?
I think that is what is it all for? I think that is probably the biggest question, especially of our generation.
hmm
Um, to come, I think we are the generation that realize what is it all for, because we are the generation that, like as you said, um, we did all the things. We did
hmm
all the things that we were supposed to do, and we had seen it be successful. So there was a perfect reason for us to believe in that
That it
system, that
could
it would
work. Yeah.
work.
hmm
And then as things, came along, technology changed. Hell, I lost 2 career jobs because technology changed, not because I wasn't a good worker, because technology changed and that company I worked for was no longer relevant because that technology was no longer there.
hmm
Um, and I think that we have all been at the same time of doing victims of doing all the things and finding out that that's not going to work. And we're here we are left on the table trying to figure out what to do.
hmm
However, I think that has sparked our generation, and I think that we're really good because we have also been able to kind of see that we're young enough to realize that we can start over on our own terms. And I kind of think that makes us almost, again, one of the greatest generations in the world, again, because now we're inspiring. And we can kind of see what the kids are doing and making money off things, but we know a little bit at the same time. So I think that puts us in a bit of a better spot than, say, the kids that are coming out right now that are getting degrees and realizing that there's not a job for them or anything like that, or the people that came from our generation that were shocked and want to do the woe is me type of thing. Do
hmm
you do you think us as a generation are being able to, with our the things that we are doing as entrepreneurs, do you think that that is sparking other people in our generation to do so? Because I feel like I see more of us making money off TikTok, podcasts, doing their own thing, being artists, finding other ways to be creative and being successful at it. with the background that we had being in corporate America, but now knowing how to maybe tap into our creative, our artistic side to actually do what we want to do. Do you think that we have are inspiring to those people?
Are we inspiring to? So yes, I think that because we were raised the way we were raised, being pushed into education, pushed into the system to go out and get a job, and we did that, and then we were working. Didn't affect us yet, but we saw those people who followed that same routine and maybe didn't have the degrees, but followed that same routine, lose their shit when the stock market dropped. Lose everything. Some cases lose their job and their entire livelihoods. We all watched that. And a lot of us, nah, I'm not going out like that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, right.
So many people have started their own things as a result of seeing that. And, you know, they do have the past experience of corporate or in government. They do have the degrees and the things that those, so they have all of this information, and then, you know, and now they're just doing their own thing as opposed to patting somebody else's pocket.
And I would say it would depend on their mentality.
Yes.
Some people choose, and some people are taught not to have independent thinking. Some people are, and I'm just saying for some, if you're waiting for things to happen later, I'll just say that. If you're waiting for things to happen later, then you're not as enthused about what all can you accomplish now. Like, what did you come here to do? And expressing yourself in various ways. Some people are waiting for later and don't think that they're supposed to do anything. Some people are not inclined to embrace themselves and their creativity, or just a different way. Let's just try a different way. I know I was always kind of taken aback when I was working at times, and people would be like, oh, well, the reasons for why they stay places were usually insurance and retirement. And I was like, you do know that you can get both of those things outside of your job, because it's always been
they don't.
Yeah, it's always been available to do. It may cost money, or somebody may not pay half, or whatever the things. But I was just like, wow. So you get to stay places that you may or may not want for these things that you can also get outside of here. So it's the thinking, mentality and some other stuff as well. I do feel programmed.
We've been programmed to believe that this is the way. You know? And
welcome to the Truman Show.
Right, exactly. To be honest, it's the Matrix. It's the Matrix, bro. That's really what it is. Those people who have decided, like I have, to step away and get unplugged from the Matrix and go and do their own thing for whatever reason, however the hell you got there. You all were already there, Trish. You've been there for quite some time.
I play well with others.
This is true.
You said you don't play well with others, so you like I'm gonna do up. Know thyself. Know thyself.
I didn't think it was conducive. I didn't think the environments were conducive for me to be fully successful, especially being a single mom, to be honest. Because what I noticed at different times were people who felt like they had power, wanting to kind of say what you can and can't do, or whether you could leave early, or whether you could whatever, when it came to my child. And it was just me and her here. So like, what you're not about to do ever is tell me what I can't leave, or I can't, if she needs me, be available, because I got to turn in what piece of paper at what time, or what, like it just, it was certain things
that makes sense to me. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I bucked the system from the inside. Fuck you, I'm going to take care of my son. You know,
Yeah.
I had a situation, and at the time when he was really young, I ended up losing that position. But I bucked against it because
Mm-hmm.
she was like, well, just bring your son here. Like, I'm not bringing my son to this job. What are you talking about? He got homework. He can do his homework over there. No, he can't.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not how this works. I did it with my kids, and you just told me, you didn't tell me just now, but you told me 3 weeks ago that your kids don't even like you and don't even talk to you. Now you're gonna tell me that
Oh,
you're gonna
damn.
use them as an example for why I should do this to my kid? No, I'm not doing that. You lost your
Yeah.
mind. You lost
Yeah.
your
So,
mind.
yeah. So, you know, it was a learning curve, I guess. You know, like you said, to thine own self be true, and know yourself, and I didn't find that it was as a proactive environment as I was accustomed to, as far as just with doing stuff. And so it's like I was always, you know, I always had a personal conflict a lot of times. I love what I do and I loved helping people. And however, the environments in which I did that in were challenging. Like if it was just about me doing the work, it was great. But then when you have all of the other stuff, and it's like when, you know, I'm real simple. I'm so simple. And when you start not making common sense to me, I have a hard time.
Yeah.
I'm as simple as
Fair
they come.
enough.
And it's like when you start trying to just add work or make me stressed, and you know, I was coming off of the holistic health and mind, body, spirit, and so I'm like very like in tune with myself at the time, and then you trying to make me be stressed. I'm like, oh, who wants to do that? Like that doesn't make any sense when you don't have to. When all of these things could have been happened when if we would have planned, you know. And we talked about the plan, but we're gonna have meetings for 7 months and still not come up with a plan, huh? But then you want me to rush in month 8 or 9 because we didn't do anything for 7?
Yeah.
You know, like my head
Mm.
would hurt around just the idea of some of those things because it's like this is stupid. And why can't people make a decision? Like just the whole like, let's try it. If it don't work, well, at least we know this don't work and we can come up with something else. But the repetitiveness
Nobody wants to
of
do that.
like not doing in environments, and then the kind of wanting you to be like running around with like a chicken with your head cut off, or be in fear because you don't want to lose your job, or you know, like that whole fear thing was so heavy that I noticed a lot. And it's like I don't want to be in chaos and I don't like being in fear. And you know, and you're not, you know, when I notice that I'm starting to do that, you know, like feel the way, and I'm like, oh shit, like they trying to get me, you know. That's what I felt like. It's like, oh, they trying to get me. And then it's like, okay, I had to keep kind of figuring it out. Like, I wish I had a blueprint. I wish I would have had a mentor. I wish I would have, you know, had a lot of things that I didn't think to get. Um, I did listen to one person, and I'm grateful that I did go ahead after school and work towards getting my license so I could be more independent, because that was the one thing that I listened to someone. They was like, you know what, even if you don't think you want to do this, do it anyway and you'll be more marketable. And that was the one piece of information that I am so glad I listened to, because I might have been stuck places had I not done that.
Yeah. Well, I
Mhm.
don't think you would have been stuck because you you had already prioritized,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Facts.
being present and being available
Yeah.
for Bela than any goddamn thing else. Everything else was going to force you to make decisions at some point. So
Mm-hmm.
you had already drawn a line in the sand and saying, I'm not doing that. So when that opportunity
Mhm.
came, it was perfect and it worked out beautifully for you, because that makes perfect sense. You know, toxic environment. You know, I had an opportunity to work with a number of leaders and then to become a leader myself within organizations. And I've worked with people who try and who work off fear. I never could do that. I'd rather you respect me
Mm-hmm.
than to fear me, because you fear me, you're gonna stab me in my back.
Mm-hmm.
It's always coming. It's always coming because you're scared.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
I don't need you to be scared of me. I'd rather you respect me. But some people that's not, they don't deal in that kind of They want to create chaos because they want to maintain a level. Feel like they maintain a level of control, and you put people in bad positions. And I guess you said it before. One of my things is I try and think about how other people feel and are affected by situations and things, especially things that I do or I have control over. So I'm real cognizant of that. And some people don't give a fuck. It's all about what it is in their head is best, and everything else. If it gets rained on, it just get rained on. It get peed on, it get peed on. It's all right. As long as my objective was completed. And I don't know. So for you, yeah, I could definitely see that.
And let me, I did have some, it was still heavy, and it was still like I made some choices, but it was still my choice, like as far as parenting, and I was there, but then I had to also do business because it was just me, so there were still, some spaces that were like not attended to as I probably could have, just because it was me, like also like choosing to be an entrepreneur by myself as a single parent. So
right.
yes, like I would prefer that, because I make my own schedule with that than anything else, or that than somebody, because what you like, once again, nothing in my whole, even to today, and old girl is like 26, nothing in me, when you even think about it, it's like, you about to tell me I can't do what? Okay, yeah, no.
Right. I had the same feeling with the last job, because they had this and this was our parting words, because they basically were just like, brand over the man, and I'm like, excuse me, brand over the man, like who does
what
that?
Man you talking like?
No, and I was like, and I knew that was the beginning of the end right there, because I was like, no, you did not just say that to, like, you must be talking to these little 26-year-olds over here or something like that, because you ain't talking to no grown ass man like that. So nah.
Did you say the beginning of the end? And yeah.
Oh yeah, it was you can't. I mean, and like Dre was saying, like who manages, who builds a company like that anymore? Like it's just. One, all these little kids are way too sensitive now, so they can't do it. So you can't really deal with a narcissistic boss anymore. Like that rule of management has to go now.
It's not gonna fly. Not with these kids, because they don't give a damn about nothing. They don't know no loyalty, no none of that. Now you can cancel all of that. So no.
Zero. It's a wrap. And I ain't worried about it no more, because I ain't got to hire nobody, so I'm good.
You don't know. You may have to hire someone. That is the goal.
Well, I mean, hire people in a different sense, like hire people to say, you work on my website, you do photography, you do that kind of hire. That's a whole different hire than hiring staff. Like that's a whole different kind of hire. Well, I take that back. I guess that is the same, ain't it?
You still have to like kind of manage and choose and kind of decide what all you want and how that's gonna work out, and all of that's like, you still got to do all the stuff. It just looks different.
It does look different. You're right. And actually, it's a harder interview, because now you have to tell your personal artistic style to somebody and try to get them to interpret what your vision is.
So
or worse, have them make you see something in your vision.
Here's my thing about that. So regardless as to how hard it is, it's for you.
Yeah,
it's yours.
Oh, amen.
Okay,
amen. I'll agree 100%.
So we've all busted our ass before and did things to build up somebody else's repertoire, their pockets. No, this stuff we're doing is for us. And going back to what Trish said, I didn't have that as an issue, because I am who I am, and I've always been who I am, and I've always said what I was feeling, and then it just kind of is what it is, and people either dealt with it or didn't. So there was never going to be a situation where I had to choose between my job and my son. It was always very evident, they knew where I stood. And then when I moved into this other job, I did, one of the things that was good about this person is that he was real good about family orientation. So take
Mhm.
care of your family, take care of the kids.
Mhm.
I won't say very much else good about this dude, but I'm gonna say that.
Mhm.
And so I didn't have that as an issue.
Mhm.
But if it were, the hard line is the hard line. For
Mhm.
me, I'm just I'm not giving anybody else that kind of control over me anymore. You know, uh
Yeah, exactly.
we all have worked in situations and built programs, built processes and procedures
Mhm.
for
And been shit
dealing
on.
dealing with different things.
Mhm.
But now we are in a space where we're building these processes and procedures, but it's for us. It's for our shit. It's
Mhm.
different. It hits different. The work
Yeah.
don't seem like work, like it's like work, because it's gonna be appreciated in the end, because the person doing it is the person doing appreciation, not
Mhm.
somebody who is waiting in the wings to possibly take credit for what it is that you did,
Yeah.
what you built,
Mhm.
or to just feel intimidated by your motherfucking shine. They shine don't shine like your shine.
Facts.
That's a thing. That's
Well,
Mhm.
the
you shining
thing.
because my
Don't
shine
don't
is shining.
Yeah, half of them
That's the
don't
My
believe
shine
thing.
that
is
they
making
got
you
their own
shine.
shine because they so busy trying
Well,
to let you.
some people can't see that
Right.
term. Some
Mhm.
people cannot see that as an individual who now I realize, and I'm older, and I can say my light has always shined bright. I just didn't know it.
Mhm.
Didn't know it.
Mhm.
But now that I know
Mhm.
what I know, yes, my light shines bright, and it's intimidating as hell to some people. You know,
Amen.
everybody can't deal with this aura, and it's too much. Because their
Get him.
aura ain't my aura.
Yeah.
It just is what it is.
uh,
You know what I mean? We walk in the room, we get two separate
Right.
types of
Yeah.
greetings.
Mhm.
You know, and everybody don't have that. So I'm not giving nobody else that kind of control. So we all left for different reasons, but either
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
either way.
Yeah. What was the next question?
I thought I just heard the ice cream man. You know
Oh,
what? I don't know if I'm qualified to answer this question. So I don't know if I want to ask it.
I mean, so that just means yes.
this is the
All right.
relationship question.
Yeah. So all right. This
Shit,
one this
well,
one
I
is
don't know if any of
datings,
us qualified. How about that?
Right,
So
datings and
I'm,
exactly.
relationship.
what you
Oh,
say?
all right. So this might be better for us to answer this one. So all right. So the question is dating over 50 easier because you know yourself or harder because nobody wants to adjust anymore?
I'm only laughing because I don't date often. Um, so- but I'm finding that
well,
I
well,
have a desire. What I would say in the last couple of interactions that I've had, um, I think it's a lot easier because I know myself and I'm open to shifting. And, like some things ain't that deep to me. I've gotten a lot, I think, more laid back as I've got older. I think I was a little bit more rigid when I was younger. Um, in that, there's some things I can be a little bit more flexible with. That is like, okay, is it really that serious, or is it, my whole thing is if I expect people to honor or respect certain things that I request that are my, this is important to me, then I gotta be okay with doing that as well. Long as it's none of my, like, as they say, non-negotiable type stuff or whatever, whatever. But I found that
that
it's been a lot easier because I'm clear. I've decided to have experiences to see kind of where I'm at. And I also know like what I want and what's going to last. If I notice that certain people are kind of stuck, I'll make some requests or what have you, but I just kind of monitor. And it's like I'm willing to shift certain things, but then there's certain things that I'm not, excuse me, willing to shift. And so I know like myself enough to know like what will work and what won't, because it's like, well, yeah, I could do with some of this, but some stuff is just like, no. And I'm very comfortable with like, that was fun or that was interesting, and wow, what did I learn about myself with that? Um, do I date a whole lot? No. Am I like super pressed? Like, I would love a companion. Um, but I don't do a whole lot of like, let me go and get on an app or any of that kind of stuff to do it. I still am kind of old fashioned and hope that that just happened in some kind of organic way. Um, but I don't know. I think I'm way more clear than I was when I was younger. I'm easier, I think, and just more like I actually want to have more fun now than I think I did when I was younger. Like I'm just like, oh, this is a whole new time in life for me. So I'm like excited to have more exploration and fun and all this, that, and the other. But I don't date a whole lot to really answer the question. Besides a couple of little, I may hit or miss a year here, then I may be by myself for a year, then I do something else for, a little bit of time here and get to know someone and just kind of be open. Um, I am open, like I said, but it's like, okay, but there's also, I think I did get spoiled um, from being from Michigan because I think that there's a different confidence level. I think that most men have that are from the Midwest that I'm more familiar with and appreciate more. That the laid backness of like a lot of men, that they just have a natural confidence and willingness to speak or just talk, and it don't always got to be they trying to get your number or this, that, and the other. That the people that I've come in contact with have just been like real cool people. And even being here, when I've run into people different places, literally half of them have been from Detroit or somewhere else where you could just like have a good organic conversation and it ain't creepy or pressed or they not on the wall looking like women. It just has been weird. And
I
like,
think that's interesting you say that because Heather, when Heather first started, well, when she first moved to Detroit,
uh-huh.
and then started going out in Detroit, and then we moved away, and people were like coming. People would tell us, "Oh, we're going to visit Detroit, especially for like Movement Festival. We're going to go to Detroit. We're going to do this." And Heather will always say to like all her girlfriends or single friends or women friends, "Oh, like, are you gonna love Detroit?" And they'd be like, "Why?" She was like, "Because if you want to feel good about yourself walking down the street, Detroit men, Midwest men will let you know without sounding like a creep." And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's really interesting. You said that. Like Heather would always say, "You go to Detroit, you'll feel special about yourself. You feel like you went. They just
Yeah,
make you feel like a woman."
Bayla had that experience, like just even coming to visit, and she was out somewhere, and just how people will speak to you, and it ain't always like creepy, but just that they speak. She was like,
Yeah,
"That
that's because y'all don't speak in North Carolina.
what you not about to do is do
Listen,
that right
listen. First of all, I was trying not to say nothing
now."
about it.
No, listen,
People
I
in
ain't mad.
Charlotte don't speak to each other like people in the Midwest. You see each other, you walk past, even if it's a what's up. You get the
Okay,
head nod, you get the dot down, head up,
We spoke
you
on
get the
that.
what's up, you get the what up though. There, they could be very friendly, but ain't nobody interacting with each other unless they have to interact. But I digress.
I've had some of those experiences. I think, like, look, I can't listen. I'm saying the same thing basically, so I can't even be mad at you right now.
Mhm.
So I'm saying the same thing, so I can't be mad. But what I will say is, when I go places, I think women are more apt to speak to other women, and then sometimes not. I think it is like I said, most of the people that I did find speaking to me were from the Midwest half of the time. Like that when you
Me
see
too
each
here.
other out, that you just be like, "Hey, what's up?" And that kind of thing. So I'm in agreement. I can't even say that because I have gone to the clubs and it was crazy. It was like, and I also saw when I first moved down here, and I don't know if that's a thing because it's not a thing for everybody. So I'm not gonna say like, oh, being in Charlotte, this is what I noticed, but I noticed this
Mm.
for some people, not every woman or anything like that. But I noticed that some women were more assertive, is what I'm gonna call them,
Okay.
in choosing the men as opposed to the men, kind of coming up and talking to you. So
Mm.
and I'm okay with speaking to everybody, but I'm not about to like. I'm okay with being a woman. Like I
Oh,
kind of.
you ain't gonna run up to be like, "You my man," and just snatch him by his neck and just be like,
I'm good. you know.
That's not you. That's not you.
And I don't, yeah, and I don't know. I think being raised by my dad, like I just saw certain things take place, and I'm just like, okay, you know, that's kind of that works for me. So,
That's fair.
but yeah, so it's like I can't say like I can't really answer because I don't feel like I've dated a whole lot to be like, yeah, on the dating scene, these are all of my experiences because I've done this for the last 20 years. I have not. And so it's like very sporadic and very minimalist over here. so so now, you know, but once again, I'm open to the experiences. I'm all, you know, but you'll be surprised because it's like I think some of the good mornings and the what you doings that you get from people and the like lack of ability to have conversation. I don't know if that's a new thing, but I don't, you know, a lot of people talk about they just get a text, but people don't want to go on a date or whatever, just different stuff. I don't know. It's just a different time, I guess.
That I think that pretty much answers the question. It's easier and harder.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm
What about
assuming.
you?
What about you, Mr. Black?
So, and it's funny. I'm gonna start this off by saying I am in therapy, right?
Mhm.
And this shit has come up, and
Fair.
and I can't wait to talk to her ass again because I'm like, it keeps coming up in different
That's a news
areas.
clip right there.
You know what I mean? I'm like, you know, literally keeps coming up. But like I told her, I'm not really even interested in dating right now. Obviously my situation is a little different, but no, because even in how can I say this?
Just say it.
No, I'm trying to put the words together.
Gotcha.
There's a level of comfort. Nope, there's a level of peace that I have right now
And
that
then when you get that,
introducing anybody else, anything else into this ecosystem, anything else into this ecosystem is gonna change the balance. And I'm talking about that's anything. That's anything, especially you talking about females. Oh, no. Dating? Oh, I'm good with that. I don't want to, and then the internet has just ruined it. You know what I mean? Because if not being in the dating world, but having access to the internet, seeing what's on the internet, it's like, ugh.
but that ain't everybody, and that
I
ain't.
understand that. It's not everybody. But do I want to filter through which one of these is a good recyclable or not a good recyclable? No, I don't.
Okay, I have a question.
I'm trying to get over the recyclable, but okay, I want to hear this.
No, I just have a question. And this
recyclable.
is a term question.
Mm-hmm.
So when you refer to women as females, and not that we're not, is there a thing with that? Is there like, what makes you
How
choose?
would you refer to me because
Yeah.
I don't understand the question. Are you not
Are
female?
you saying
Yes.
are you saying are you using female in exchange
Instead
for
of
another word?
instead of woman?
Oh.
Okay, woman. I don't understand
Is there a difference?
I don't
No.
understand the
I don't think so.
why it was touchy for you.
No, I was just asking. It was a conversation that I had, so I thought I'd ask. I don't know.
Oh,
It was a conversation.
I don't think so.
And they were like, they have a idea about men who say females as opposed to women, about how they feel about women. And so I would just thought I'd ask because it came up as a conversation. It was like, for men that use the term females, they usually don't regard women well in their perspective. And it was
I will get with you on that.
It was a
I'm
younger.
I'm not, because I just use women, and nigga, I just traveled how many miles to come to be at to be the only man at a one woman show
You
to
weren't the only
support
man.
you. Whatever. You know how I
No,
feel about my
I
mama.
just
You know where women,
I
you know how I
listen.
put women in my
I
life. So
just
I'm not letting that shit. Nah, I ain't holding
listen.
on to that.
I was asking
Sherman said he agreed, and I wanted to shut that shit down quick.
because that's not your. I was like, I don't think it was a big, like I didn't know.
Mhm.
But I'm always accused of being very biased towards men. So that's the accusation that is often made. And I'm cool with that. So, but I was just like, I don't know. But there are some people who feel that way. So I was like, just because you said it, I was like, oh,
No,
let me ask this question, see what this,
no,
because
I didn't
I
have
wouldn't
any.
say that because you're absolutely like, of course, I'm going to be like, well, how I speak of you all. So, and Dre, you know how I speak of you. So,
Yeah.
like, everybody knows that you are, one of my best friends for real, way back when, this, that, and the other. Always been respectful. Always, I know. But I was just like, oh, let me ask since we were here.
Uh-uh. No, I ain't had. That's the
But
first.
Sherman,
Listen, let me ask you this: was that a male or female who gave you that perspective?
it was a female.
Okay.
It was a young woman.
A young woman.
A young woman. And I don't know if women do that as much as I don't know. Like that's what I'm saying. I think it's all of these different things, and then there's all of the different spaces for options of
I mean,
what.
I get you because female did kind of sound different in that conversation than woman, but I feel what you're saying. But I wonder, that's a
Yeah, I
chat
mean, I don't
GPT
know
question.
because I think I've referred to everybody. I don't think it's as many options. I guess maybe
It's
for
not. We're just males. You can be women or females.
okay,
Fair,
They're
yeah,
fair.
equal.
Yeah.
yeah,
We're just males. And there's some derogatory terms can be thrown out there, but no,
yeah.
that's I that I that's
That
why I was taken aback. I was like, wait a minute, did she just? I mean, that sounded like that was a bad thing to say. I'm like, I didn't think it was bad.
No, I
But
was
that
just
person,
asking because
the
I'm like,
person who gave you that analogy would have made an assumption about me and how I view females or women
Right.
based upon the
Right.
fact that I
that you say the
use
word,
the term
but
females
but I
versus women.
but
Versus.
I think that's also just how you were saying when you go online and people are making all of these kind of statements and stuff like that. Or just people who are talking about relationships, or how you like, if this is what I got to choose from, and these people that's online, like hell no, like that don't even sound nothing about that sound peaceful or nothing about that,
Right.
Well, and
Right.
not, I mean, to be honest, not only that,
mm-hmm,
I just know. First of all, I'm doing work for working on me, right?
mm-hmm. Yeah,
I can immediately tell when somebody is not necessarily doing work or has not done work on them.
amen.
Okay. And just with something simple as not being able to accept a compliment. And you might think that's not a big thing, but it's a
It's a
fucking
huge
thing.
thing.
It's a
Yeah.
No,
thing.
it's a gigantic thing. It's a
And
big
it's,
thing.
it's like, nah, you know what? I'm not. Do I want companion? Do I want sex? Yes. Do I want to put in the work to do it? No. No.
I'm so right now. So that being dating thing. So is a companion more important now than passion would be? Like somebody just to hang out with, or that not necessarily like, I got to feel them all. I'm all in. Is it just like somebody just ride or die with?
I don't even know you if you have that perspective once you turn 50. No,
Ooh, good point.
I don't, like,
Meaning,
I definitely am not like in the whole let me ride or die kind of who do what wait, huh?
uh-huh.
I don't think that would be part of my my terminology that I would use as far as dating or
The
anything
who
like
die?
that. And it doesn't say, I mean, but what I do know about me is like I do ride hard for people I ride hard for. So that's just gonna be a given. Um
Right.
but like some of the stuff that I think that we were like open to relationship wise when we were younger, I think we ought to lived enough to know like, yeah, some of the stuff, no, absolutely not. just on the clarity point that you don't have nothing to prove, and the more work that you have done on yourself, you do, like you said, oh, you can't accept a compliment. Yep, that's gonna be extra work. I already know I'm gonna have to do all of this, that, and the other to kind of make you feel, like you just kind of know
Mhm.
ahead of time. It was
He'll
like,
build you up. Yeah.
yeah, it was like even when I chose some of the experiences, it's like, oh, I kind of like this, and we'll just see where it go. Like I'm like, oh, I kind of like it, but this is kind of fun. One was like fun and different, and took me a space very, very quickly. Because it's like, yeah, ain't nobody doing this. Like I'm not doing that.
And it's different. Okay, and I'm gonna keep it 100. It's
Yeah.
different for
100.
for like you and me, or I'm sorry, women and men.
Would you say females and males?
Yeah,
Okay,
females
I'm
and
talking
males.
women and men, because you know what I'm saying. That whole experience, the whole experiences, they
Mhm.
cost us. Cost us.
Mm-hmm.
You paying to have to deal with headaches? No, hell no, hell no. And again, I gotta decide, and if I, open up the whole damn can of worms, because I said I was not getting on the internet talking about this shit. People talk about it all the time.
I mean, but it's
But
still
even as a man, because I had this conversation with a very, very lovely young lady last week, and we were talking about males and females. We were talking about relationships, and it was about me and dating. And no, it wasn't. I don't even think it was about dating, but it turned to makeup. It turned to makeup. That's where it turned. And I'm like, there's the unfortunate part about it is there's so many women that are walking around with unhealed trauma that don't realize how beautiful they are themselves, and they don't view themselves that way at all. They have such a negative view of themselves that every day they wake up and they draw on a whole new face. They paint a whole new face from what it is that they look like.
Damn.
You know what though? And I'm just gonna say this, and I ain't real big.
That sounds like a poem.
I am not super big on makeup, but I do a little. But what I will say is, for a lot of women, those will be. It's almost like everybody tell you don't get whatever, but that's the stuff that men are drawn to, and those are the women that.
Stop saying that. Stop saying that. Stop. Stop.
But you can't
keep hearing this narrative that men like this, and we keep saying we don't like this. I see it online all over the place. I'm like, we don't like this. I hear men that I'm in conversation. We don't like this, and the women keep saying, but men like it. You telling us?
So which one of us lying? Which one of us lying?
I think you are lying to yourself.
You are lying. You don't know what you're talking about. How are you gonna tell me how I feel?
Yeah.
How are you?
I think that is a female thing, because I think that is a female thing.
I will say this, and this is with me going out. You all can say what you're going to say, whether you like it, don't like it, say that that's not what you want. There are men who are drawn, will talk to, will buy drinks for, will do all of the stuff. I can go out without none of that stuff. I won't get my drink bought most times out of for being natural for all of these years. There's a difference. There is a freaking difference, and you can say that. I have seen it, and I have witnesses, and I have watched it. So you can say that, and it may be a ton of people who say one thing, and I'm not saying that for you all, that's not what you prefer, but I'm saying what I watch people do. So you can say that, but it's a whole bunch of other people that ain't having y'all conversation, or that may be who they end up fucking, but not who they want to be with. And we'll just put it out like that. But it's still
that's real. That's real.
But it's still the attention. So you won't really speak to the other person who natural, or who this, or limited makeup, or got their own eyelashes, but you'll go dance with, buy drinks for, get whatever, and make sure the other person who is painted, but extra boobs, whatever, dressed a certain kind of way, that will be the one who people speak to all of the time. So you can say that and I can hear you, but I'm telling you what I see as a woman or what I experience. So the same way you experience your stuff, you can't tell me I don't experience mine.
True, true. I mean, you
I,
are. That is
I
true.
will. I
think
hear
it's an
that.
age group with that.
I
think
hear
it's
that. I think that's also your perspective is your perspective and what it is that you see. My perspective is coming from being a man, talking to other men, having.
But what y'all
Let me stop you there. Let me
Mhm.
stop there. Okay, because we need to define who the fuck we talking about. Okay, because I
Okay.
said men. I said men.
Right.
I said men, and I said men. So
Males.
man, who? No. I said
No,
men.
no, don't do that.
I said
No,
men.
listen.
I
This is
said
what
men. So
I'm in agreement. I'm saying maybe the other ones are males and they're not men. That's what I'm saying.
And that's what I was going to agree with. I think that's an age. I think
I'm
that's an
open.
age
I'm telling
thing.
you, I could do all of the stuff. I ain't so rigid that I can't. I'm just saying, and I think that there are a lot of women and men that are having the same conversation, but we don't meet each other. We meet all of the other people. If that makes any
That's
sense.
probably fair. No, it
You
does
know what
make
I'm saying?
sense.
I think it's a lot of women who feel the same as a lot of the males do, but they end up running into all of the other people that's like, where the fuck y'all come from? And y'all ain't making up, like all of the ones that make you like, that's messing with my peace. Like we both unfortunately end up with running into the people that affect our peace. And we're like, that ain't even what I want. And I think it's a woman thing and I think it's a man thing. I think
I
that
do
they're
too.
both right. I'm not going to say, and I will not deny what you're saying, but what I will also say is what I actually see with people. But they may just be males. They may not be men. I'll do that.
what I want to amend, okay,
And that's different.
because I realize, in spite of the fact that I do feel in my gut that there is a larger number, I'm still taking one brush and painting a group of people, which is what I don't like. So what I'll say, I don't. Some of this shit is just sad because your ass don't look like that, right? I meet you, and then whatever, you got all of this, and then you take a towel and I could wipe across the top of your forehead and change your whole expression. No, the expression. You went from to
you look because you look like a different person.
And then without it, you look like a totally different person. And then if you think about the long-term effects of some of these things, how much are you damaging what really God gave you?
Yeah.
Not just your skin, your hair. Okay, with all of the things that the glue, I see women now with fucking hairlines like men. Like our shit naturally recedes. Yours ain't supposed to, but you got all of this glue and shit that you done pulled, and then eyelashes. Oh my God. You see people, some women with eyelashes, you sit with them all the time, and they have some that are longer and they're accentuated. And okay, it looks nice. And you see them without it. Well, they didn't pull all their eyelashes off and they look like they sick.
You know what I've always said?
No eyebrows, no eyelashes. And that's a generalization too, because not everybody's like that. But I see enough of it to where it's like, and I'm the one that's supposed to choose, right? I'm the one that's supposed to go out and choose. I'm the one that's supposed to go out and say, hey, you're the person I'm going to spend my money and my time on. So if I'm the person who's choosing, then I can say what it is that I want. If I don't want all of that makeup and all the other fake shit, then you could do that for somebody else. Traditionally, other women, in my perspective, but whatever.
Okay, so what I will say, and this is my whole thing around, and I get what you're saying, and I'm not going against that. But what I will say is what I've noticed, especially when it comes to women, is whenever there's a level of self-esteem that starts, especially with Black women, whenever there's a level of self-esteem that just starts happening, like the kick when everybody starts going natural, or the kick when I'm Black and I'm proud, like these time frames where things happen where Black women start feeling good about their natural beauty. We'll get a new perm, we'll get a new wig, they'll find something new to do. And it's almost like the systematic brainwash of,
It ain't
and
no
then,
almost. Take
It
that almost
is.
out. That's the
It
plan,
is.
Trish.
It
It's the
is.
and,
plan.
and the other piece is exactly what you're saying is when people start using some of the things, then you have to continue to use it because now you have pulled out half of your eyelashes, or you have done this, that, and the other, or you have all of these other spaces that you now need to cover up because of whether it was perm or this, that, and the other. So it becomes a more of a necessity than something to try out or whatever because of what has happened or the because it is freaking glue. Like that's some of the stuff that I'm like, I ain't putting no glue on my eyes. Like I'm not real. I don't like the idea of certain stuff. Like not that I've never had, but that is definitely for whatever effect whenever that's happened. But it's like
Yeah.
so in
Right.
between, and that
It's
ain't really my.
it's a very special occasion.
Yeah, yeah.
You
And it ain't
taking
gonna.
pictures. You going to a very
Exactly.
special event.
Yeah.
Yes,
This is the
Yeah.
not just
thing. It's the
because it's
thing.
fucking Tuesday.
Yeah. But what I will say is
Every freaking Tuesday.
but that's been a thing though. So it's like, no, people don't feel well. It's not validated that we feel well about ourselves. Most of the things, especially for the younger generation, they didn't see people telling them to feel good about themselves. We ended up being more bitches and hoes left and right all the time. Repetition deepens the impression. So it's
Mm.
that's a different thing that we have had that I don't think, like, yes, been a couple of women rappers that whatever, but for the thing that happens with Black women and how they've been talked about, and, like, I'm fucking you and your cousin and everybody, like, just all of the stuff that is hard to combat if you don't have an equal balance or somebody telling you something else. And I would just say, I'm going to, of course, have compassion for women around their self
Of
esteem
course.
because society wise, it's been a challenge. And all of the other people that are promoting, because you have the housewife kind of stuff. And, like we grew up, like we said, on like,
I don't
the
get that show.
Cosbys in a different world. And everybody's kind of, you going to see somebody natural. You going to see somebody, like you're just accustomed to real people with real relationships. While this other generation has had nothing but a slew of, because it started when we were in college, that we were now known as bitch and hoe as opposed to women or even female for that matter. Like that was like the new theme of how we, men were niggas and we were bitches and hoes. And that just
Yep.
has had so many, I think, just ramifications for both about how to be men and women.
That's fair. That's a drop the mic point right there. Cause yeah.
So, I think
Ooh,
we
that was
all got
deep. I had to write that down.
So
Most definitely.
going back to what I said in the beginning, it was like, as soon as I talk to somebody, when because I'm working on myself, I can see the trauma, and that trauma is evident. And I think that people need to work on themselves. But first of all, that was a stigma in and of itself. To go and seek help.
Right.
And then, because that admits that everything is not perfect. Not that something's wrong with you. It's just that everything is not perfect. And some people want to paint the picture of being perfect. It's not it. We all got issues. You never would know some of the stuff that happened to you in your childhood that still governs how you move now. And you don't even know it. You don't even know it.
Which is crazy when you make that realization as well too. And it sucks that sometimes, like you said, as your therapist points that out to you, like, for real, that was like I was 8 years old. Like, seriously, why am I even dealing with that?
Yes.
And the fact that it does is kind of mind-blowing. It's a bit mind-boggling, to be honest.
And how much it's impacted other areas. Like throughout life, how many times has the one thing impacted your decision making on so many other things without you even being conscious of it.
That's that's your therapist talking. That's true.
You know, and that's the whole, that's part of the thing, you know, like like good thing we're all are going to therapy for therapy, so we could just be like, you know, it's we all just get to learn. You know, we all get to learn. I'm continuously learning, thank God, about myself. And the things that have had impact and how to not allow them to take the front seat. But it's like sometimes it's hard if you don't even know that they were there.
I think that's the point.
Hmm.
The most shocking point out of all of it is that you have to say, I guess it's like with anything else, you have to say it out loud to realize that
Hmm.
that's what it is. But it again, it's still very hard sometimes to wrap your head around it. Like all these life decisions I made were based on
This one thing.
that,
Yeah.
and I was unconsciously doing it. That's
Hmm.
even crazier to me.
Yeah.
And then so now I got to break a 50-year habit is what you're telling me.
Pretty much. No.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, good luck with that. And that's $150. See you next week.
And that'll be
Thank you.
the best $150 you probably spent that whole month,
Hello.
because that
Amen.
revelation, that
Say
just think about
that.
it. The $150 that you spent,
Say that.
how much you gonna save in the future by not making these same repetitive mistakes over and over and over and
Speak on
over.
it. Speak on it.
So, you know,
Hmm.
well
And how
spent.
that's an investment. You know, a lot of people want to invest in all the other stuff, and it's like,
Invest in yourself.
yeah, yeah.
I say that all the time with clients, with especially like, well, back when I was
Hmm.
in sales, I really don't have to worry about sales anymore. But back then I was like, so you're gonna spend $7, $8 every single day at Starbucks, but once you
Hmm.
add that up, that's really your gym membership and invest a little bit of and a 40-minute investment in your future.
Right.
But you can't justify the money. So I do love that. That's $150 is gonna save you probably $150,000 in
In the long
future
run.
bad decisions.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Speak on
yeah.
that. Yeah, you
Hmm.
ain't gonna hear me argue about therapy ever again. Nope, I'm good.
Worth it. Every penny. Every penny.
Because
So,
that's
well,
a
that listen,
relationship.
look. I know I got a little emotional for a second.
You all right?
You all right? Yeah.
I was
Hey,
like, oh gosh, I got feisty again. Oh, let me bring it back in. I listen right after I said I've been doing better. No.
You want to bring up old shit.
Look,
Say what you ain't about to say. I see these motherfuckers. What you ain't about to tell me. Yeah, no.
look, you should listen.
Huh?
You didn't ask me who I was having a conversation with when I said I was having this conversation with this very nice young lady last week.
Oh, it had to be me. No.
No, it was
No.
your mini me.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. And I got
Your
the
mini
business
me.
in. Listen, Sherm, I got the
gave you
business in
business?
too. She looked at me and she was like, "Oh, I don't know if anybody told you about me." And I'm laughing. I'm like, "I don't know what you talking about. I'm just seeing her from 30 years ago. So you ain't showing me nothing new. This new for everybody, other folks.
Right.
I seen this before. I seen the original up close and personal.
Right. Oh, boo boo, you
Oh
don't
my
even
gosh.
know.
And I'm so grateful. Listen,
Yeah.
so grateful.
As you should be. As you should be.
Yes. And thank you
So
again.
No
So
worries.
speaking of which, how did it go? What are your thoughts? I mean, I know you put some stuff out on Instagram, but where do you feel like it was successful? You look
I
beautiful.
definitely feel like it was successful. I definitely feel like it was successful. And I'm grateful. I am still processing. It was a big emotional kind of sharing. Um, and me and the young woman were having a conversation. She was like, "How do you feel?" I said, "I feel like I've been spiritually cleansed."
That's what I meant by successful. Do you feel like that
Yeah.
you got the therapy that you needed from this?
Okay, so on a different note, it wasn't it was a thing spiritually that I said that I was doing. And it was more of a when it came out, and I was talking to my voice coach, like, oh, I'm gonna do a one woman show. Ain't no way. I had never thought about doing no damn one woman show. So I know it was something different. You know how you had those moments? Because I was like, that wasn't really on my radar. I was still doing poetry. That wasn't on my radar, but it came out of my mouth as a thing. And I was like, since it's come out of my mouth and it had that feeling that it was more spirit than me, I knew that it was something that I had to do. Didn't know
Mm,
necessarily why. Hadn't figured out because I was gonna start and it was gonna look a different way initially. Like I thought that it would be more around my mom initially because I was doing some work around that, and then it just turned into what it turned into, and it's needed. Like at the end of the day, I know it's needed. So for all of the
mm,
things and for the responses that were given to me about people feeling seen or heard because my experience hit on so many things with their different experiences. It's, like that's the whole thing. Sometimes, as we're saying, you don't know some of the stuff you've been carrying until somebody puts words to it in a different kind of way. So that's what I'll say.
As an audience member, I can tell you that the stories resonated with people and touched them in ways that I don't know that they anticipated on having
Hmm.
that happen when they walked in. Um, being a male in that situation, um, because it was you and I talked, it was personal for me,
Hmm.
to know some of the things and hear
Hmm.
some of the things that happened, and to know that I was there, not know and not,
Hmm.
that personal part about it, kind of weighed heavy on me. But then just removing myself from that personal aspect and thinking about how vulnerable a person would have to be to express all of the things or even some of the things that you express during this one woman show, and having that reach people in the audience, to have them give feedback like, I feel seen because it's not just me, or I feel heard because it's not
Hmm.
just me, or I
mm.
can relate because I had something similar. And it was sitting in the crowd, you couldn't hear or see none of this, but I could hear the quiet conversations in agreement, or conversations where they felt like you guys were in step, you
Hmm.
know, or like you said, to be seen or heard. So it was a very good show. It was very, very eye opening. It was very well done. Um,
Thank you.
you were concerned about uh, a number of the things that you were concerned about in the beginning in terms of memorization, and couldn't nobody tell you was reading. I couldn't tell you was reading at all, at all. But I definitely think it was a good show, and then to have people immediately um start telling you you need to do this again.
Yeah, that's
Immediately,
what I
Hmm.
Sherm,
heard.
Sherm,
That's
immediately.
that's what resonated on Instagram. Like it
Yeah,
needs to happen again.
immediately she needs to do this again. That's what people were saying, you know. So yeah, it was good.
Okay, Oprah,
I'm Latricia.
Yeah, right, right,
Latricia
right, right.
Winfrey.
Listen, I'm gonna be nice.
Facts, facts. Yeah, I should be a therapist, not just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still like I said, I'm still taking it in, and I'm super grateful, and I know that, like I said, I got messages from people, um and I'm happy that I could maybe temporarily be a little bit of a salve or a motivation to make sure that they hit their next therapy appointment, or, just whatever it ended up being for people. A catalyst for more independence or whatever, whatever it ended up being. I'm glad that I was obedient, basically. and not just did the stuff. And I think that would be the thing that I will always tell people is that happening to me. I know I'm not the only one. That
I don't know how many of the people, I know that some of the people you've worked with that were in the crowd, I don't know how many people were, but I can't even imagine how fulfilling it was for those people that you helped through their own specific traumas, you know, to hear that you've come. They first of all, they speak about Trish in such high regards, bro. If you watch her collaborative conversations, if you are down there, when you're down there and you hear people speaking about, I'm sorry, Miss Penny, right? Because I want to say Trish, and they're like, no, that's Miss Penny, right?
Put some respect on that name.
Like, yeah, exactly. You know, and I got checked a couple times. That's Miss Penny, right? So
you're right. You're right.
Speak of her in very high regards, and then to have her tell her story, to have, you know, like I said, it was very open. It was open about a lot of the trauma. We don't talk about the shit that happened to us in our lives. In general, we don't do that. We might talk amongst our friends, you know, and that's selected group, you know, and then and that's only so much that you're gonna tell. This was like from birth to now. There's a lot of and being open, there's a lot of stuff that could go on, you know, from the mother to the father to her personally, you know, without getting into any of the details, because she gonna do this again, and I don't want to give up none of the stuff. So go down there and see it. Yeah. But it was very eye-opening. Again, I commend you, because thinking about some of my own childhood stuff, can I get up in front of people and say that shit? Damn, I don't know.
I kind of feel inspired. Sounds like, I don't know if I could do it on stage. I might be able to do it in this particular form, but
but you don't know. I never thought that would be a thing that I did. You know, like you just never know. And and you get the confidence once it's done.
It just seemed like it was really cathartic for you. Just like it was really just
it has been.
Yeah.
It was like a different, you know, there are certain moments. I love what I do, but there's certain moments when I'm speaking or whatever that there's a different kind of shift that happens within. And so and that was one of those kind of moments where you just feel that it's like it's just different. It's just a different.
I like how you said that.
Yeah. So and I'm, like I said, I'm just glad that I listened. And because I was like, the fuck, you know, like how you say a thing or you do a thing and you're like, did I just say I was gonna do that? You know,
I said that shit out loud. Damn.
And then you start kind of doing the thing. So I just, you know, I just hope it encourages for whatever that is for other people, that they honor that, because there's so much to be had or shared or transmuted or, you know, elevated to the next level when you say yes and you actually do the stuff.
I think it's huge, because one of the things that has helped me over the last couple years, you know, is just hearing other men's stories that are similar to mine. And it's like, you know, there's like the end of the tunnel, you know, and they can do that. I can do that. I can overcome this. I can, you know.
Yeah.
So that right there, you know, and then the flip side of that, the other side of that is, damn, maybe my shit ain't so bad, because that's fucked up.
I find that is where I spend most of my time. Like, you know what? My shit is not that damn bad.
Right. I'm like
grow up and stop whining, you little bitch. Like, go in the business. This time, just went through.
Perspective is a mug, boy.
Perspective is a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's what we living like. Like, I'm sorry, dude. I am sorry that I even compared myself to what your life is like. I apologize. In fact, I wish you luck, and I'm gonna go sit my black ass down and figure my shit out.
You know,
Damn.
but I think the beauty is like, especially like we were saying earlier, that we all have made choices and that we're journey kind of together in the midst of us making different choices. Like going against the grain. And we're doing this, which is a little going against the grain a little bit too, like we're just continuing to choose, and that we support each other with that. Like, cause we know that it's not easy.
Yeah.
It definitely is not. I always say stuff like this, like therapy, things like this, when you're venturing out, they're not for the weak of heart, and so that we still like keep putting one foot in front of the other, and that we keep encouraging one another. And it's like, we give kudos to each other. It's like, those things are huge. Because we may
Indeed
not hear it from other people so much, but that we're able to be that, kind of that support for each other during this time of great change. Is beneficial, and is great. It's Black love.
Amen. Hey, you know what? Amen. That's the way to go out. Just right there. It's Black love.
Yeah. It's Black love.
I am not mad about that. 6 to 12 eyes.
6 to 12
Grown folks
eyes.
talking.
Yeah.
It's
Black love.
It's Black love.
It's Black love.
The tagline.
All right. Peace out. That's it.
We good?
Yeah, I guess we good.